Hello, 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 and welcome to Homemade. I'm Chef Krista. Today we have a great class ahead of us. We are partnering with Fulton Fish Market. They are the oldest fish market, continuously running and trusted since 1822. That is a long, long time. They are based in New York. Here at Homemade, we've been working with them for a long time. Great partnership. We love working together with their fresh fish, and today we're going to get into it with a whole surf and turf. We have Meg, who is running our chat. She's moderating with us. Hi, Meg.
Hi.
Meg and I have been talking about all the fun aspects of this amazing Calabrian chili butter surf and turf meal. So this is a great recipe because it is just bursting with flavor and not a lot of work. Truly not a lot of work, right?
No, it's such a good hack just to have like a nice compound butter that you make and get good seafood, and it's going to taste amazing.
Yes. So we're going to be using this Calabrian chili compound butter. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and then we're going to dive in and do it. We're going to make a compound butter. We're going to grill as if we're outside. We'll talk about doing this in roasting style in an oven, or like we're doing here, transforming our stovetop into a grill. And then we're gonna grill steak, a ribeye steak. We're gonna grill lobster tails. We're gonna grill scallops and oysters as well. And then we'll throw some broccoli on for good measure, some crusty bread. It's just gonna be a really beautiful feast. I'm excited because this is all stuff that you might go out to dinner for, right? You would go out and get like, oh, I'm gonna get lobster tails, but instead you can just order directly from Fulton Fish Market. They've been working with us, like I said, for many years. All of our recipes with them are at fultonfishmarket.com/homemade. It is truly like getting restaurant quality delivery of seafood to your door. So they have a subscription program that you can sign up for and get $50 off your first subscription when you use the code HOMEMADE. Get that delivered to your door.
Yeah, and they have, with the subscription, there's up to 15% off every order, and they throw in little goodies and perks and things in there too. So very exciting.
Yeah, free fish, amazing.
I love getting mail too.
I love getting mail.
And if it was like fish and oysters in the mail, come on.
Yeah, and I honestly think I teach some nutrition classes, and I'm always asking people to add in, and fish is definitely one of the things that we could all be eating more of. And I think people get afraid of buying fish, or they're not sure that, when did this come in? How do I cook this? So we're going to show you today that you can order it. It arrives super fresh to your house, and then this is a great way to be able to super simply, don't be afraid, it's fast and delicious to add in more seafood. Okay, so I'm starting on our chili butter. And what I'm doing here is I have a stick of butter. Don't be shy. Remember all the things I said that we're going to be using this compound butter on. So I've softened this. It's been out for a while. It's nice and soft. You can press on it. That's the level of softness that we want, where you can just make an indent, okay? And we are going to put in garlic, lemon zest and lemon juice, and our beautiful Calabrian chilies. Now, the zester is one of my favorite kitchen tools, microplane, zester, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just zesting my garlic right into there. And I think your recipe says 1, but for a whole stick of butter, I'm going to go for 2 cloves because we're just going to pounce up the flavor here.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is how you make any kind of flavored butter, right? So you take a room temperature butter. This is another up your sleeve kind of trick to make. So you can do flavors that you like. Meg likes spicy, so she picked the Calabrian chilies, I think. I like garlic. So we're putting them together. I have about a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons of the chili, just diced up a little bit. And then zest and juice. So whenever a recipe calls for lemon juice, always zest it first. That is another layer of flavor that's just really, really a lot more flavor even than the juice. So I'm just zesting it before I get to the white and turning. Clang, clang. And so even if you don't use all the zest for this recipe, which I'm going to, you can zest your orange before you juice it, and you can freeze the zest in a little teaspoon or half teaspoon measurements. Put that in your freezer and use it for something else. All right, so there's that. Zested and juiced. I like to help it along. Use your hand as your strainer so no seeds get in. And we are doing the whole lemon, the whole juice of the lemon. The other thing I was going to say is like, so this is compound butter. Just throw flavor at butter. There are so many ways to make a really delicious compound butter. If you like spicy and funky, you can make kimchi compound butter, which is just chopped up fermented cabbage and chilies. Traditionally, maybe not traditionally served with seafood, but I would make a compound butter like that and put it on any kind of meat.
Yeah, that'd be great with this recipe too.
It would
Just
be
swap
great
it
with
out.
this recipe. There is the possibility of doing a brown butter, and so you do cook it and then brown it and then add some hot sauce and garlic to that and let that cool and put it in the fridge, and then you have a brown butter hot sauce compound butter. There is a chef from the South. We'll talk about oysters and all the different places they come from, but there's an abundance of oysters in the South, and this chef, who I admire very much, has a recipe. Vivian Howard. Shout out to Vivian Howard for teaching me about cooking in the South. So now we're incorporating that, and that's her recipe. That's how she does oysters. She does a brown butter, hot sauce, compound butter, and then guess what? A little sprinkle of bacon across the top.
Oh.
Amazing.
With raw oysters? Or
What's
with
that?
Broiled oysters or
Yeah.
raw? Ooh,
Yeah.
yum.
Grilled with that, like we're doing today, but grilled. So there we go. We're all mixed together. And don't forget a little salt. I was using unsalted butter there. And pepper if you like. Any other ideas for compound butters people like to use?
Steph was just talking about corn, and I'm kind of over here daydreaming about a corn butter, but I don't know how you would do it.
Corn and compound butter?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
how would
with
you...
this on corn would be amazing.
That on corn, but corn in the butter.
Oh,
or
corn in the butter.
I don't know.
Okay. I can see that too. All right, that's as much fussing with that as I want to do. I'm going to scoop that all. You can make this ahead, and so I'm just going to use this today, so I know I'm going to use this. And so you can chill it and make it ahead in advance, or if you're doing yourself a favor and making a whole bunch of compound butters, what I would do is I would make this into sort of a log shape, wrap it in wrap it in parchment paper, make a little log out of it, and then freeze it in a Ziploc bag. And so then when you want a compound butter, you just slice off from your little log that you keep in the fridge, or the freezer, rather. So these freeze and keep really well frozen compound butter for like up to 2 months.
That'd be a good way to use like wilting herbs, right? Just free.
Herbs on their way out.
Yeah.
They get the treatment. They get the compound butter treatment. All right, so because we're doing surf and turf, and believe it or not, Fulton Fish Market also sent us the turf part of our order. So we have a dry-aged ribeye steak, And we're going to, and I have this out at room temperature, that's important. And we're gonna season it really well with salt and pepper. I have some salt on the plate already. Dry aging is a technique that is really what takes your mostly beef to the next level. What it is dry aging takes the beef and puts it out. So we are obsessed with like covering our food and keeping it at a certain temperature. Dry aging, you take it out of its packaging and you let it sit sometimes, I don't know, I think 40 days is kind of the minimum, and then people go really, really long with their dry aging times. They're doing it professionally in a place that is going to, it's going to dry out the top and the edges. And what's happening is the meat's natural enzymes are in there, and they are kind of breaking down that connective tissue. So dry aged meat gets really, really, really tender. It is something that Fulton Fish Market offers too, even though it's not fish, it's beef. So this has been dry aged. Beautiful, beautiful piece of meat. I want to also prep our grill so that we can get going starting with this beef. I'm starting with the beef because I want it to have a chance to rest after I've cooked it. Super important. So if you are doing this at home on an actual grill outside, same tip. You want to prepare your grill with a little bit of oil. This is olive oil, and that's fine to use. Our grill is coming up to a temperature of medium high, and we want to be able to, I've had this preheating for a minute, and I just like to do this to get nice nonstick surface with our, you get some of the last grill adventure, you get some of that pulled up with that oil as well, which is fine. Okay. So we're gonna put this steak on. This is actually, I was thinking about this whole setup that we're doing is a great recipe for grill parties, because if you have a grill big enough, or if it's a round grill, you can get everybody who's like, I'm the grill master. No, I'm the grill master. Get them all around and get them involved in one part, right? So maybe you have someone who's like, I'm the meat guy. You give them a pair of tongs and they're in charge of the meat. I'm gonna do this in a row, but sure would love some help, like somebody tending the lobster, somebody tending the scallops. So this is a great one to just be like, oh, you wanna be in charge of this? Great. And you just hand somebody their role, their job, right?
Yeah, that impression of the different people who think they're the grill master, that reminds me of Father's Day.
Oh,
and coming up, and just to remind, a dry aged steak coming to your doorstep in the mail. Great Father's Day gift.
Great.
Or a subscription to Fulton Fish Market could be awesome if you're still wondering what to do.
There he goes. That is a great idea. This whole menu. This is Father's Day. And so then you watch this video, you order this goodness, and you cook with your grill master father or father figure. So we get that nice sizzle on there. We're gonna leave it. Leave it alone, people. That's how you get the grill marks. That's how you don't tear it. So we're gonna go about 4 minutes aside. Like I said, this dry aged beef, super, super tender. It's in a controlled environment for however many days that they're dry aging it for. And we're gonna go for medium rare here, about 130 to 140 degrees. And we'll temp that after we flip it over. In the meantime, I want to move on to the surf part. We're going to handle our lobster tails. So these come like this. They came like this in a little bag. Hello, lobster. And this is where all the meat is. This is what we're looking for. This is the part we're going to eat in here. So to get these on the grill, I'm going to use some nice kitchen shears and get real handsy with this. You can cut up their stomach. And if your kitchen shears are good enough, you should be able to cut up the spine as well. And then I'm going to cut this in half so that we can put this on the other side of the grill. Now, friends watching are probably saying, oh no, you're cutting the little succulent tail pieces. I like to suck those parts out. Don't worry, you'll still get all the goodness here. Okay, so there's our beautiful lobster tail. Let's see, we can also probably just do it with our knife. These are looking like Atlantic, North American lobster. These are not Caribbean lobster where you're eating just the tail. So somewhere there's a claw from this lobster also getting eaten. Questions about lobster?
Yeah, let's get your lobster questions. Krista,
What's that?
you're ready. You're ready for the lobster questions. While we're waiting for those to come in, I have some compound butter ideas that came through.
You have compound butter questions? You gotta speak up.
Questions.
The sizzle is so loud up here.
Okay. Ramp butter, compound
Ooh,
butter.
Yeah.
Mary threw out anchovy caper.
Ooh.
People who like a little zing.
Little zing, little extra
pickly
fish
moment
in there with the anchovy.
Deb makes a chive butter.
Chive butter, also tasty. Yeah, and then you put that not just on, proteins, but put that on some roast vegetables. So we're just basting. Think of this as, this might be a summer dish. This is the sunscreen going onto the lobster. And again, salt and pepper. Get these guys that salinity that they're used to. And down we go. Come here, Pepper. And then down we go. I'm going cut side down first. And we're going to get some beautiful grill marks on there. You can use tongs if you want to. Like if this was a grill at home, I wouldn't be doing this with my hands. Okay? Hello, friends. There's your surf and turf grill moment. And then we're going to talk about the scallops. Now, this is definitely one where if you live inland and you're looking for scallops and you just can't find them, this is worth the order, right? So a lot of times scallops come into the grocery store and they are, one, they're frozen. Two, they might be injected with a preservative like a phosphate, which makes them, and great, right? We want to preserve it, that's great. But it makes them harder to sear. So the scallops that we have today are dry processed scallops. They're also sometimes called day boat scallops. They are not injected with anything. They're just harvested, and then they're vacuum sealed, and then they're shipped to you, okay? Scallops are another amazing choice for seafood. They're so succulent and tender. These guys are pretty big, but they're also something that are regional and seasonal. So I'm brushing them with olive oil, but I also wanted to show you sometimes, I might have taken them off already. Oh, yeah. Sometimes they have a little piece of extra skin. Oh, here it is. So sometimes, can you see this little extra piece right here? That's the foot.
The foot, right? Yeah.
The foot. So this little scallop needs to get around. And this is just a little extra chewy. You don't have to do this, but I like to take the foot off. And you can put that into something for a stock. Like a fish stock, right? So giving those a little bit of a bath also in olive oil and salt. And let's see, how long has my meat been going there? So a little bit of salt there, a little bit of pepper. And we're going to watch those on our medium. Oh, this one's pretty hot down here. So we've got our grill juggle happening, our grill Jenga. I'm going to just take a peek at our ribeye. Let me see if I can take a peek so you can see. Yes, we see the grill marks. We see the cooking happening. I'm going to flip it over. Beautiful. And we can keep flipping it over again if you want to get that, traditional cross hatch grill marks. You don't have to. It's more important that it cooks to the temperature that you like than how it looks, right? And then for our tender scallops, these are going to cook only, can you scroll down just a little bit more? Or no, you did scroll. Perfect. So these are going to cook really quickly, and I'm going to try to put them so that they have, all right, so I am kind of a handsy person, so I'm just going to plop these with my hands. Only do this if you feel comfortable. Okay? We'll put some up here because I'm feeling the difference in the temperatures of my grill pan. Does anyone have a grill pan that they just love to use? I grew up in New England, and my dad would go out and grill in the winter, so grill pan was something that I found as an adult.
I love grilling veggies inside.
You love grilling what?
Veggies inside.
Oh yeah, this is
throwing
what this
broccoli
is for.
on there.
Yeah.
And yeah, for meat, for seafood, it's really good.
I'm gonna give these a little basty on this side.
Speaking of summer seafood recipes, I am obsessed with scallop ceviche.
Say that again. You gotta yell at me, sweet
Scallop
Meg.
ceviche.
Ceviche, scallop ceviche. Now we're talking.
So good. So it's like the
other end of the
sweetness with
spectrum.
the spicy. And,
Spicy, bright. This is like charred. Let's take a look at our lobster. So a lot of the times you want to just gently pull up when you're grilling, and if it releases, then you know you're ready. Woo! Hello there. So that's lovely. You do want to flip it over, so it's going to cook through the other side and maybe be a little bit more of a steam on the other side. And what you're looking for, you saw that it was pretty opaque, and now it's turning white. That's what we're looking for in terms of cooking it. I'm going to let these guys go a little bit longer up higher in the heat.
that looks awesome.
They
look so good.
Pretty tasty. And I'm going to move this guy, again, up into the heat a little bit more too. And so that change in color in that seafood, this is kind of true of a lot of seafood, is that you want to see that change from that clear to white. When I teach about scallops, I like to invite people to look up the side, and you'll see the color change up the side of the scallop, and you want to flip it before it gets to the middle so that you have even cooking on both sides, and you might have a little bit of tender in the middle as well. Do we have any other fish questions or comments?
Steph said scallops with the spicy brown butter you mentioned earlier would be really, really good.
Yes.
I have a question for people in the chat. What's the most common seafood that you eat in your daily life?
Oh yeah,
Throw
I
that
would love
in.
to know.
What about you, Krista? It's yours.
I love, love, love scallops, and I love shrimp. Love shrimp so much. I love scallops, like a really good seared scallop over a sweet potato puree, and I make this this like chili lime beurre blanc. That's more of like a winter dish.
Yum.
Yeah. And scallops tend to be more of a winter dish. You can get them year round, of course, but in different parts of the country, they're a winter thing, and you got to go out and you're digging for the scallops. I used to live and work on Nantucket, and I was doing canvas work for some people's boats, and they actually paid me in scallops because they had dug so many and they didn't know what to do with them, and they were like, what do you say? Could we pay you in scallops? So I got a couple pounds of scallops as payment for my work on their boat, which was awesome. It was great. I'll take it.
Yeah, same. Paid in food anytime.
All right, look at that. So this one, you can definitely see these, I hope you can see these front ones, how it's turning white, and that we want to cook the other side. So very gently, try not to squeeze too hard to flip it over. And remember, I did give them a little brush on both sides. So,
For the scallops, would it be like, if you skewered them, is that like bad?
Yeah. Definitely I would skewer
Or
them.
is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Just to keep them all together.
That would definitely be another beautiful way to serve this plate. Come on, release. Oh, hello there. That's what we're talking about. So this burner is a little hotter. And these guys are going to be done faster. Back here. Really need a fish spatula. There we go. That's what we're talking about. So those guys are doing their thing. We're going to test our... That's been a few minutes. And I think... So if you haven't already done this test for figuring out how cooked something is, this is an old chef's trick, if you don't have a thermometer, is use your hand. So just this part of your palm right here is a muscle, just like this meat is muscle. And what we're gonna do here is just press. You don't have to pinch, but you're just pressing, and you're gonna compare this muscle to the cooked muscle here, and this is rare. And move your finger to your middle finger. It's medium rare, medium, and then well. When you get to your pinky, you should feel this pretty solidly. So I'm not sure if you can see, but this to me feels medium compared to my hand. This works even with, like, you know, people who work with their hands, construction workers and everything. So that is a fun cheater trick if you don't have a thermometer. And you can also, of course, just peek into it and, you know, open it up a little bit. I want our guy to have a rest of about 10 minutes, so I'm thinking about taking him off. Yeah. You're good with medium rare, right?
Oh yeah, that's
rare.
How I like it. Mm-hmm.
Let's give this.
Thank you.
Huh?
Order up. Yeah.
Yeah? What did I have for resting for him? He's going to go right onto our serving platter.
Oh, the cutting board there.
Oh, the cutting board. You're right.
I have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, where did it go? Someone said Chef Krista oiled the grill. Others say oil the food for grilling. Thoughts?
I mean,
I saw you do both.
I did do both for this recipe, and the grill one is depending on the time between when you oiled it and when you actually get back out there to put the food on it. It's an insurance policy, right? Like, you don't want it to stick, so I would do both. And the key is that your grill is hot enough to release the food, so that's why your temperature is just as important as how you prepared the grill or the food. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to also take these guys off. So with fish, especially, you want to think about residual cooking. So we don't really get residual cooking with things like chicken. The structure of the meat is different. So, but with these very tender scallops, they're going to still do residual cooking. If we had fish, it would be doing some residual cooking, which means that you can take it off when it's still a little underdone, and the heat from what it was cooking on and what's still moving around inside the food is going to finish cooking it. These feel done. Whoop. Awesome. Other questions?
Nothing right now, but I love this platter and this flavor profile. It's such a treat for people during the summer, and it really, if you get people to delegate and work on the grill and, get the grill guys to work together, or girls, or whoever it is.
Yeah.
And all you did is whip up the compound butter and cut up some lemons. I mean,
yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty
situation
great.
You got there.
Pretty great and easy. Like, I think sometimes we get so excited for summer and barbecue season and whatever kind of celebration, and the person doing the cooking doesn't get to do that much celebrating, right? If it gets super involved, whereas this is still, let's chat, let's just hang out over here.
That's always my problem. I get trapped in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it'll just be
I
a
want to
minute.
make the most perfect thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. All right. Friends, I have grilled paper towels everywhere. Okay, I think let's see, these have been on a good minute, so we're gonna put those off to the side on our platter. We're gonna just build this beautiful platter here. Now we're talking, look at that. Yeah, I think I want this guy to stay on a little bit longer. Hello, lobbies. Okay, so that, and then people are gonna come and scoop which parts they want. We might also, if we have time, I will take some of that flesh out so that we can partition it.
Yeah, you could get some clean kitchen shears and snip it too, couldn't you?
And then while it's hot, I'm gonna take this butter and just give those lobster the butter that they love so that it's melting, and we're brushing it over everything. Ooh, these are hot. Hot, hot. And then we'll do the oysters and some vegetables. Actually, maybe I'll do the vegetables, right? I'll get those guys going. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That looks amazing, smells amazing. All right. So I think I'll do oysters and the broccolini. So I'm not afraid to put the broccolini right where the meat was. As long as there's not a vegetarian that I'm serving that's going to be upset by that. We're going to take, these have been rinsed. These are going to also get a little drizzle. And this is just maybe one more. And then we're going to put some bread on here, and we'll put oysters on the other one. There's something about grilled bread, too, that just goes with seafood, when you have a bowl of mussels and you get that grilled bread that goes with it. I don't know what it is, but there's something so delicious about that combo. So we're going to grill up some slices of bread. Lovely. All right, and I'm going to try to get a little bit of this off before we put our oysters in there. So for our oysters, last but not least, I'm going to just try to pull this up. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter because it's going to be stuck to the bottom of the oyster, I guess, right? So people are used to eating oysters maybe just as a shooter, right? And with a mignonette sauce. Oftentimes, that's what is traditional. But maybe the intro that you need is a grilled or roasted oyster. So look at these beauties that we have. They come, okay, so a couple of really fun things about oysters. They come, what is it? Oh, here we go. I'll turn that off for a second. Here we are. So the thing about oysters is that they come alive, right? So they are being shipped to you alive. You want them to be in a bowl. We had our bowl with like a mesh bag. You don't want to saran wrap them, right? They need to breathe, even though it's hard to believe there's somebody breathing in there, but there is. So this is something that working on boats, working on islands, I've seen people do this, and they do it so fast, and I get just like, how are they doing this fast? They're doing it fast because they shuck 1,000 oysters a summer, right? Or they're working at an oyster bar. This takes practice, so give yourself a little bit of, grace. It takes practice and the right tools and patience. It does not take brute force to open these. So they came alive. We're keeping them chilled, relaxed in their shells. And then your setup for this is you're gonna have a towel. It's a towel that's gonna get dirty. We did do some shucking already. Can you see this?
Can you move that blue bowl so
Yeah.
we can get a nice shot? Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, we did shuck. We shucked before.
Was that?
I was just saying we've been shucking already.
Yeah,
today.
we've been shucking already, so you don't use grandma's heirloom towels or anything. Use your kitchen towel, and what you're going to do is you're going to open this hinge. So if you've never done this before, this is a Blue Point oyster that we got delivered, and they're just, these are gnarly, right? They have other things growing on them, and you're going to look for the parts of the oyster, like the cup and the flat part, so that you are putting the cup down and the hinge out. So I'm right-handed. I'm going to put the hinge out. I'm also going to take care of my broccoli here. So it's bright green and getting a little singed. That's as good as it gets right there. We don't want this to go from green to gray. That means you've killed the beauty of the broccoli. So you want it to stay bright green. Give it a chance on the other side. All right. Back to my oyster. So my hinge is here, and then I'm putting the towel over the majority of the oyster. Meg and I did this earlier. She's a pro. It's been many years since I did this. But the important thing is that it's not how strong you are, it's how you wiggle the knife. So there are a couple different kinds of oyster knives. This is a nice flat one, has a little bit of a rounded edge here. It's not sharp. This is not a sharp knife. This is about like wedging it in there. So you're gonna find that point on the hinge and wiggle it in there. My hand here is behind the towel. So you see people doing this in their bare hands, and then they're gonna get stabbed, and then there goes your summer fun, right? So put the towel here, and you can use the heel of your hand to keep it. And then you'll see like little bits of mud where it came from. You don't want to push that in. You don't want that grit to go in. But you're finding that position of give. These bigger guys were cooperating earlier, and you're just doing a little twist to see if you can pop the muscle.
It's a leverage game.
There it is. Did you see that?
Yeah,
That was so gratifying. Okay, so I wasn't hurrying. I was just trying to find that little give, and you can see now I've opened it. So once opened, I can remove this towel, so you can see I'm going to remove the muscle from the top shell by just wedging that knife in again, and about 2/3 of the way down. Try not to put I gotta stick with my entry point here. About 2/3 of the way down, I'm keeping the knife across the top because I want to separate it from the muscle. And then, woo, ta-da, there he is. Now this liquid in here is called the liquor. And that is the salty, briny goodness that we are looking for, that we want to keep. So don't dump that out. That's the good stuff right there. That gives it the flavor, the terroir. We don't need the top for anything else. You can fill your driveway with those if you'd like. All right, should I do another one, or should we get these on the grill?
Let's get them on the grill.
Let's get them on the grill.
Maybe we can do another one while
I'll do another one in a second.
our pre-shucked ones are going. I have a question while you're putting those on the grill. We have some people in the chat who haven't cooked seafood much. Do you have any words of encouragement or, things to look for?
Yes. So I will say before I put this on the grill that your nose is your best friend. So when you're buying fish or seafood, you want to make sure you're getting it that doesn't smell. It should smell like the ocean. It might smell like low tide a little bit, but if it's a smell that you go, trust your gut. Do not eat something that makes you go, not so sure. The other thing is I love to cook in papillote. I know we're at the opposite end of the extreme here, but in papillote is like in paper, so parchment paper, and that parchment paper is just your protection. It's like your insurance. And it will give you the most moist, delicious fish if you can keep it in this folded parchment paper. Now, what we're doing here, we have some already shucked. Look at this guy. He's got a friend on board. I don't know if we'll be able to eat that guy. The other friend on board that you might find is crabs, and Meg was telling me this, but crabs and oysters have a symbiotic relationship, so you might find a tiny, tiny crab. What was your...
It's called a pea crab.
A what?
And they're a pea crab.
A pea crab.
P-E-A.
A P-E-A.
And they get together with the oyster while they're both larvae, and they grow up together, and the crab grows inside of the shell, and it doesn't harm the oyster, but it eats like the nutrients that the oyster pulls in.
I love it. I think it's good luck, right?
It is, yeah. It's good luck.
The seagull poops on you, and you find a crab. It's good luck. All right, so because we're pretending that this is our grill at home, I'm trying to arrange these so that the grill itself is holding your oyster in it, right? So if you're doing this in the oven and you're roasting these, which is totally also doable, you can put this on a bed of salt, or you can crinkle up so that your little cup of the oyster has something to rest on so that it's not jiggling all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so I've put it on my grill, and it's resting in those. We still have some, like, the liquor is in there. And then because I want to pretend that it's a grill, I'm going to cover it for about 2 minutes. It is going. Can you hear that in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do one more? We had a question from Steph. While you're shucking, how do you know you're not hitting the oyster?
Okay, yeah. So you're trying to be so delicate about your treatment of your seafood. And I think that's the other thing, is that we oftentimes, we're pretty rough with our chicken, pork. You just kind of throw it on, you beat it up, you put it in a stir fry, right? But with seafood, we want to treat it a little bit more gently. There's a special fish spatula that we're using tongs. So especially with seafood too, and with these delicate, well, they're all cooking now. It's a mussel in there. It's just one very delicate mussel. And so when I'm doing the prying part, look at this guy, has such beautiful, this is like a taste of the ocean here, right? So the important part about not getting the actual muscle of the oyster is that I'm just prying around the edges until I've lifted this off, and I'm happy to demonstrate this again. Hopefully this guy cooperates. You can see where that top shell is, like right here, and that's where I'm going to try to go in and under, and it's flat, and I'm going to try to keep the knife up against the flat side. And then afterwards, I'm going to go under and remove the mussel from the bottom side so that it slips easily into your mouth. So just being really gentle with your, I swear I'm being gentle, with your prying. And all different varieties of mussels have different thickness of shells. Just kind of prying under there. Ooh, did you hear that? That was so satisfying.
That was a nice little pop.
So wipe off the mud. Like you can see the mud right there, and you can even see that opening, and we're gonna try to just persuade. We're gonna coax this guy, just keeping the knife. Oh, that's a good example. Like just keeping the knife over the top, and you can see the muscle attaching. And I'm just running this over the top. Oh, my bottom shell broke. Let's try to rescue that liquor. Oh no. So here's the whole guy attached, and we want to separate him from the top shell, and then we want to separate him from the bottom shell as well, just by scooping underneath. We're going to have a little liquor loss on this one. Just scooping underneath so that he comes out. His shell broke, so he was our extra for demonstration.
Yeah. In my house, that would just go right. I would just pop it in my mouth.
Just pop that in your mouth? Aren't you the best? All right, let's take this guy off, and I want to show you that these guys are most assuredly done. Well, I hope. So what we're looking for is we're looking for this liquid that's in here to start kind of bubbling up and steaming, and it's not just yet. So I'm going to turn this up a second. And you can see, though, that it's warm. I can see that it's warm. I can touch it's warm. So it's very close. I'm going to give it 1 more minute covered here, and then we're going to put the butter on it. My makeshift cover. I'm happy to have demonstrated that. I know there's more if you want me to keep going.
No, that was great.
Okay. Thank you. Great. And we have our things ready to go. Giving that a minute, let's take our steak, and we're going to cut into our steak so that we can portion it out. And then we're going to tear some burrata over the top of that. And I like, so we're going to just make some pieces to go across the center there. And this guy is also going to get compound butter. Come up here. Come up here. We've got our medium, I'd say straight up medium on this one. So we've got our steak, and just because it's summer and we're going to indulge with butter on everything, but also with some burrata. So I'm giving these guys a little butter bath, and maybe a little bit more on our lobster. Any other questions or thoughts?
How long before you're cooking those oysters could you shuck them?
I wouldn't shuck them until right before.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're separating them from the shell, you're exposing them to air, like they were doing their own breathing before, and now once you do that,
I guess
the
liquor could evaporate too.
What's that?
The liquor could evaporate.
Yeah, and you'd spill. So I'm going to put some burrata on here, burrata on here. Put a little bit of this, a little squeeze of this, and I'm going to make a separate plate for the oysters. Okay. Okay, those guys should be ready for their chili butter bath. So I'll bring that over here. Whoop. We got a lot going on here.
Oh, there they go.
That looks better. Can you see this one here? He's bubbling away. He's bubbling away. He's begging for butter. That's what he's doing. So we're going to put a little butter on each of these until it melts. Just right there onto And there's some bubbles there. We know it's ready to go. Ooh, this smells so good. It smells so roasty. So yeah, you can do this in the oven at like 400-degree oven. That guy's ready. This guy's ready. I wish that I had inherited the grilling hands of my dad, but I didn't. He would probably just pick these up. He has like asbestos fingers. So we're gonna use our tongs to try not to lose that gorgeous butter. And liquor. And we were gonna, you could put it on the same plate. Oh, look, I do have the asbestos fingers. And we're just gonna put it into a bed of salt. And, oh my gosh, this smells so amazing. But it's also chilies. Come to mama. Woo.
That looks amazing.
So this is what we're talking about. When we talk about a summer feast, that was about, I don't know, 45 minutes to get three different kinds of seafood plus our beautiful ribeye, some broccolini. This guy didn't get his bath. So that was about 45 minutes in the sunshine, around a grill, or in the oven on a night when you just needed a boost from that briny ocean. We are looking so good here. Now, you want me to taste something, right? What to taste? Where's my fork?
The lobster is looking so good to me right
now.
The
lobster.
The like beautiful curling shell. Mm.
I think I'm gonna have a little piece of scallop on some bread. And any other questions we can answer before we let people go?
Nothing in the chat right now. I think people are mesmerized.
People are hungry.
And
people
Steph said this was amazing.
This.
I know, this is like, looks like my birthday dinner or something.
This is your birthday dinner?
It looks like it
could
be.
Definitely be. I'm gonna just eat this beautiful scallop because it's easy. So succulent and sweet. Like, I think scallops taste sweet. Oh my gosh, and the butter really has a really fun, spicy kick to it. So we have all these flavors at play here, this creamy and the vegetable goodness that we're gonna have also had its playtime on the grill. We have our hearty and flavorful steak, and that's getting to play side by side with saline and spicy seafood. This is an amazing dish for a party, for a celebration, for a good time, really. This looks amazing. These oysters are ready for the party. I just want to encourage you all to add in seafood as often as you can, the omega-3 benefits, the protein. The reason that everybody loves oysters is because they're actually filled with B12, which is a mood-boosting vitamin. And so the aphrodisiac and all of that's not just a myth. It's not just a myth. It's true. It will make you happier to eat more seafood. So thank you to Fulton Fish Market for sending us all of this goodness. Remember that you can find a subscription on their website that they will be sending it to you monthly, restaurant quality fish. You can get all of our recipes, fultonfishmarket.com/homemade.
Yes.
This is the most, this is really like, how could you not, right? This is a celebration shipped to your door as fresh as possible. I'd love it if you joined us next time. Our next homemade class is Monday on the 9th for seared halloumi with roasted cherry salsa. Chef Joel will be here to do that. And you can always go back and watch this class on demand. Find this one and a bunch of other recipes. Please, please, please get in your kitchen, feed your people. It was great to have you here with us today. I hope your kitchen is your happy place. Take care.